What's up guys? Welcome back sa ating channel. Again, I am your math teacher, Sir Gaor. And today, we will learn another factoring technique. Okay, so that is factoring sum or difference of two cubes. At kagaya po ng nakasanayan natin dito sa ating channel, so magkakaroon po muna tayo ng drill. Lalo na po yung drill natin ngayon. Kailangan alam natin yung drill natin ngayon para mas madali nating matutunan yung ating bagong lesson. So palagi naman kailangan alam yung drill kasi yung drill na yon ay part ng lesson. Okay? So we are asked to give the other trinomial factor that completes each equation below. Okay, kung mapapansin nyo itong nasa right side, puro sila sum or difference of two cubes. No? So ito yung nasa V6, yung 6th video natin na product of the form. Okay, kung naaalala nyo pa yung nasa V6 natin. Okay, so para hindi nyo na siya i-recall, bibigay muna natin ng example. Bigyan natin ng isang example. So ano yung trinomial factor neto? Para ang lalabas, trinomial factor ng y minus 3. Okay, para ang lalabas, pag minultiply sila, ay y cubed minus 27. Okay, so paano kumuha ng trinomial factor? If you have the binomial, ang gagawin lang, square the first term. So we have y squared. Square the last term or the second term. So we have 9. 3 squared or negative 3 squared is positive 9. Okay, naalala nyo pa ba kung paano makuha yung middle term? So imumultiply silang dalawa, pero babalik na rin ang sign. Y times negative 3 is negative 3y. So opposite its sign is positive 3y. So therefore, this is our trinomial factor. Okay? So, pakigawa na po yung ating drill. At pagbalik nyo ay mag-check na po tayo. Good luck!
A few moments later.
Okay, kung tapos na, here are our correct answers for our drill. So, I hope you got a score of 5. Pero kung hindi po, paki-review yung answers kung paano nagkamali. Okay? So, sabi ko nga kanina, so importante kasi to para sa ating bagong lesson. Let us go now to the characteristics of an expression that is factorable by sum or difference of two cubes. Okay, one is it should be a binomial. Okay, so dapat dalawa lang ang terms niya. Then the other one, both terms are perfect cubes. So anong ibig sabihin ng both terms are perfect cubes? Ibig sabihin, yung numerical coefficients are perfect cube numbers. Perfect cube numbers are 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, and so on in that pattern. And then, exponents are multiples of 3. So, 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay? So, those are the characteristics na dapat meron siya. Okay, so let's try to test the following if they are factorable by sum or difference of two cubes. 64 is a perfect cube number. 6 is a multiple of 3. So, therefore, this is a check. So, that's factorable by sum or difference of two cubes. Next, perfect cube. Pero yung 3, hindi yata siya perfect cube, no? Wala siya dito sa mga to, oh. So, therefore, this is not a perfect cube. This is not factorable by sum or difference of two cubes. Number 3, c to the 8 minus 27. Perfect cube, perfect cube. Kaya lang yung 8 ay hindi naman multiples of 3. So, dapat siya multiples of 3 ang exponents. Exponents are multiples of 3. So, hindi rin siya factorable by this one. And then, the last one, 216 is a perfect cube number. That is 6 cube. 27, perfect cube. 125, perfect cube. And then, x to the 12. 12 is a multiple of 3. So, therefore, this is factorable by perfect cube. Again, numerical coefficient should be perfect cube numbers. Exponents should be multiples of 3. So, those are the characteristics para maging factorable siya by sum or difference of two cubes. Okay, so here are the steps on how to factor sum or difference of two cubes. The first one is to get the cube root of each term as the first factor. That first factor is a binomial. So, kailangan makuha muna natin yung binomial factor. And from that binomial factor, kukuha tayo ng trinomial factor. Okay? To get the trinomial factor, get the sum of the square of the first term, and then opposite the sign, of the product of both terms. So, imumultiply sila pero kabaligtaran lang ng sign. And then, the square of the second term of the binomial. So, pagbabasihan natin yung binomial para makakreate tayo ng trinomial factor. Let us go to the examples on how to factor sum or difference of two cubes. Okay, here we are asked to factor the following completely. As always, kapag nagpa-factor naman talaga, dapat completely ang pagpa-factor. Okay? So, how do we do the factoring? So, sabi kanina, so dapat kuhanin natin yung square or cube root ng both terms. So, therefore, ang cube root ng r cube ay r. Cube root ng negative 125, so that is negative 5. So, therefore, this is our binomial factor. And then, from the binomial factor, we will create the trinomial factor. So, how to create the trinomial factor? Square the first term, so we have r squared. Unahin na natin yung square the second term, lagay na lang natin sa dulo. Okay? Para mas madaling tandaan. Square the first term, so we have r squared. Square the second term, so square of negative 5 is positive 25. And then, yung gitna na lang, so how do we get the middle term? Multiply them, r times negative 5, that is negative 5r, but opposite its sign, so therefore, this will be positive 5r. Okay? So, these are the factors of r cubed minus 125. Number 2. W cubed plus 1. Okay, so get the cube root. W. Get the cube root of 1, so that's positive 1. We have now our binomial factor. Let's get our trinomial factor. From this one, so this is now W squared. Then square this one. 1 squared is still 1. And then, let's get the middle term. Let's multiply them. W times 1 is W. Opposite the sign, so therefore that's negative W. So, ganun lang po siya kadali. Okay, number 3. 729 plus 64p to the 6. 729 is a perfect cube number. Ang cube root niyan ay 9. So, that's 9 times 9 times 9. So, sabi ko nga before, sana familiar tayo sa mga perfect square numbers, perfect cube numbers, para isang tingin lang natin, alam natin ay perfect, sum or difference of two cubes ang factoring yan. So, malaking tulong kapag kakabisaduhin nyo yung perfect square tsaka perfect cube numbers. Okay. Cube root of 729, so as I said, that's 9. Copy the sign, so we have positive. Cube root of 64 is 4. P to the, okay, so how do we get the cube root of this one? Just divide it by 3. 6 divided by 3, so that is 2. So again, di-divide sa 3 ang exponents, okay? Pag kinukuha yung cube root. Okay, so this is our binomial factor. Let's create our trinomial factor. Square this one, so square 9, so that is 81. 4p squared, so pag in-square natin yung 4p squared or 4p squared, that will be 16p to the 4th. Middle term na lang. Multiply 36p squared, yung product. Pero kabaligtaran ng sign, that's negative 36p squared. So, these are the factors. Okay, number 4. For number 4, 192 is not a perfect square number, pati yung 375. Tapos, pag i-inspect natin, A, B, tapos may X, tapos meron pang X dito. So, therefore, ano kayang gagawin? Okay, so kukuha muna tayo ng GCMF. Okay, so 192, I think this is divisible by 3. Pag inad natin, 1 plus 9 plus 2, that is 12. 12 is divisible by 3, that's why 192 is divisible by 3. Okay? Let's try this one. Add natin. So, 3 plus 7 plus 5, 15. Yung 15 ay divisible by 3. Kaya yung 375, divisible din by 3. Okay, so both of these are divisible by 3. So, try natin yung 3. And then, sa variables, A, B lang to, tas dito C, pero pareha silang may X. So, yung mas mababang exponent ang kukunin natin. So, yung kay X squared. So, ito yung ating GCMF, 3X squared. Okay, now, divide na natin by the GCMF, yung bawat terms. 192 A cubed b to the 6X squared divided by 3X squared. 192 divided by 3 is 64. A cube will remain as A cube. B to the 6 will remain as B to the 6 kasi wala naman tayong A or B dito. X squared divided by X squared is 1. So, matatanggal na yung X. Okay, minus 375 divided by 3. So, that is 125. C to the 12 will remain as C to the 12. X to the 5th, X cubed, or X squared. 5 minus 2, so that is 3. So, therefore, this is now X cubed. Okay, let's see. Tingnan natin kung factorable na ba siya by sum or difference of 2 cubes. 64 perfect cube, 125 perfect cube. Lahat ng exponents ay multiples of 3. So therefore, this is now factorable by sum or difference of 2 cubes. Or by the way, yung acronym nga pala natin na tatawag sa sum or difference of 2 cubes ay SDTC na lang siguro, no? Sum or difference of 2 cubes, SDTC. Okay, let's copy our greatest common monomial factor na 3x squared. Okay, let's now get the cube root of these two terms. Cube root of 64 is 4. Cube root of a cube is a. Cube root of b to the 6, so that will be b squared. Again, i-divide lang yung exponent sa 3. Okay, minus cube root of 125 is 5. Cube root of c to the 12 divided by 3 yung 12. So therefore, that will be 4. X cube, so divided by, or the cube root of x cube is x. Ito na yung binomial factor natin. Let's get the trinomial factor from this one, of course. Square this one, so we have 16. Magiging a squared na siya. Tapos yung b natin ay b to the 4th. Okay? Square of the first term, punta tayo dito. So, unahin natin itong nasa second term. Plus 25 c to the 8 x squared. So, yun yung ating last term. Okay, let's go to the middle term. So, multiply. So, we have 20. So, negative 20, kaya magiging positive 20. Tapos, lahat ng mga variables na to, kukopyahin na lang natin. So, walang magbabago dyan. So, that is a, b squared, c to the 4th, x. So, therefore, these are the factors of 192a cubed b to the 6x squared minus 375x to the 12, or c to the 12, x to the 5th. Let's now have the last example, which is example number 5, x to the 6 minus 1. Okay, kung i-analyze natin yung given, pwede tayong mag-start in two different ways. No? So, tignan natin kung paano. Pwede tayong mag-start ng SDTC. Kasi siya ay pwede ring sum or difference of 2 cubes. Pwede rin naman tayo dito sa DTS. Difference of 2 squares kasi pwede rin siya sa square. Okay, tingnan natin kung anong mas magandang method or saan mas okay. Okay, let's try. SDTC, so cube root of x to the 6 is x squared. Minus cube root of 1 is 1 also. Let's get our trinomial. Square the first term, so we have x to the 4th. Sa dulo, square the second term, positive 1. Middle term, we have positive x squared. I-multiply silang dalawa pero kabaligtaran ng sign. Okay. This looks familiar. Factorable po ito by DTS. Ito yung magiging x plus 1, x minus 1. So, ang factors niya, x plus 1, x minus 1. Difference of 2 squares. Okay? And then, we will just copy this one. So, we have x to the 4th plus x squared plus 1. Okay. Mukhang factorable pa ba itong x squared plus x to the 4th plus x squared plus 1? Okay, mukhang hindi na, no? Okay, so stop na muna tayo dyan. Let's try DTS or difference of 2 squares. So, in difference of 2 squares, we get the square root of this x to the 6. So, square root niyan ay x cubed. So, yung isa plus, square root muna ng 1. So, square root ng 1 ay 1. So, to factor that 1, yung isa plus, tapos yung isa naman ay minus. So, ganyan po yung DTS. Difference of 2 squares. Okay? Tapos, kung isipin natin, ito, this falls under SDTC. May factors to na binomial, trinomial, oh. Tapos siya rin, mayroon din ganun. Okay, so therefore, let's factor. This is now x plus 1. And then, yung trinomial factor niya naman, we have x squared. Sug natin ng konti para mukhang hindi kakasya dyan. Okay, get the cube root. Get the cube root, so we have x plus 1. And then, let's get the trinomial, x squared minus x plus 1. Okay? And then, eto rin, meron din siyang binomial, trinomial na factor or factors. Cube root is x minus 1. Trinomial factor, so we have x squared plus x plus 1. Okay, ang tanong ngayon doon, ang tanong ngayon, sino ba ang mukhang mas simplified? Tatlo ang factors, ito 4 ang factors. Okay, so mukhang ito ang mas simplified. Kasi 4 yung kanyang factors. At the same time, napababa natin yung exponent into x squared. Ito, may x to the 4th pa. So, bakit ganun? Bakit magkaiba sila ng answers? Iisa lang naman ang question. Kasi itong side na to, pwede pa kasi siyang makontinue. Kaya lang, ibang technique na yung gagamitin dyan. Okay, so kung tuloy natin to. Okay, lagyan natin ng ibang technique. Okay, this is one technique in factoring. Pwede nyo itong gamitin kung sa tingin nyong naisip nyo na lahat ng klase ng factoring pero hindi talaga applicable, no? Okay, so anong gagawin? Ang magiging target dito, gagawin nyo itong perfect square trinomial. Try nyo itong gawing perfect square trinomial. So, paano magiging perfect square trinomial yan? So, we have x to the 4th plus x squared plus 1. Para maging perfect square trinomial, gawin natin itong 2x squared. So, ang mangyayari, kailangan magdagdag tayo ng x squared. Pero para balance, ibawas din natin yung x squared na yon. So, parang pag nagdagdag ka ng 1, nag-plus 1 ka, pero minus 1 mo rin, so parang ang dinagdag mo ay 0. So, okay lang, no? Kasi binawas mo rin naman siya. That is one hidden technique in factoring or one strategy in factoring na hindi na minsan nasasama sa lesson. Okay. So, paano yung gagawin dyan? So, let's combine similar terms. So, we have x plus 1 times x minus 1. So, itong dalawa pagsasamahin natin. Huwag natin muna ito ibabawas kasi baliwala. So, mamaya na siya. Ito muna. Gawin muna natin itong perfect square trinomial. So, we will have x to the 4th plus 2x squared plus 1. Okay. Tapos, minus x squared. And then, so we will now factor. Since nagawa na natin yung target natin na gawin itong perfect square trinomial, factor na natin siya. So, we have here x plus 1 times x minus 1. So, ito ay magiging x. So, how to factor? Check muna natin kung talaga siya ay perfect square trinomial. Okay, get the square root. So, we have x squared. Get the square root. So, we have 1. Tapos, palaging may times 2 sa harap. Okay, 2 times x squared, 2x squared, times 1. So, still 2x squared. So, nakuha natin yung ating middle term. So, therefore, it is really a perfect square trinomial. So, factor na lang natin siya. So, ang factors niya ay x squared plus 1. So, paano nakuha yun? Square root of this one. Copy the sign. Square root of this one. Tapos, ito, lalagyan natin ng squared. Ito yun para dito. Okay? So, perfect square trinomial kasi siya. Minus x squared. But they belong to a group. So, nasa isang group sila kaya lalagyan natin dito ng bracket. Okay. Does this looks familiar? No? Difference of two squares to. So, remember, plus and minus. So, ibig sabihin, pwede natin siyang i-factor pa ulit. So, we have x plus 1 times x minus 1 times, so, ito bali ay, sige, i-bracket muna natin. Ito bali ay x squared plus 1 plus x. So, square root of this one is this one. Square root of x squared is x. So, yung isa plus, yung isa minus naman. So, ganito rin. Pero minus naman siya. We have x squared plus 1 minus x. So, yan. Okay. So, mukhang wala nang gamit yung grouping symbols. Tapos, i-arrange na lang din natin siya. So, i-arrange na lang natin. Tanggalin na natin tong parenthesis. Tapos, i-arrange na rin natin at the same time. So, we have x plus 1 times x minus 1. So, mauuna rito si x squared tapos yung positive x, so bali, tapos yung 1. And then here, we have x squared minus x plus 1. Okay, parehas ba sila? So, tignan natin. X plus 1, ayun, x plus 1. X minus 1, ito yung kanyang x minus 1. X squared plus x plus 1, itong isa. X squared minus x plus 1, so ito. So, parehas na sila, no? So, maganda. So, I suggest, so nakita nyo naman kung ano yung mas madali sa mas mahirap, no? I suggest, kapag ang exponent mo ay to the 6, tapos, or to the 6, to the 12, to the 18, and so on in that pattern, basta multiples of 6, tapos meron ka ritong minus 1, no? So, ibig sabihin, mas maganda mag-start nun ng DTS para maigsi lang. Okay po? So it is time to practice what you have learned. So let's now have the try this part so you are asked to factor the following completely. Okay po? So good luck!
A few moments later.
So kung tapos na, ito na po yung correct answers para sa ating try this. And I hope again you got a score of 5. Pero kung hindi po, paki-counter check ang inyong mga sagot at para malaman nyo kung saan kayo nagkamali. Okay, so I hope to see you again in our next videos. What's up, guys?